Another interesting session about the rebuilding, how to rebuild an organization, and the joy of service, the teaching, the pride of serving the nation, and the research and the business. Can it go hand in hand? And the leadership mantras that shape the Shankar Netralaya model. And then we have a wonderful debates about the marketing and the profession. It's going to be a very interesting session. So I request Chairperson Dr. G185 sir to please come over to the dais. And then we have Dr. T.P. Lahane sir to please come on to the dais. Co-Chairperson Dr. Rohit Shetty sir and Dr. Girish Rao sir to please come up on the dais. And I request Dr. Tinku Bali to moderate this session. So the first talk we have is by Dr. T.P. Lahane. I think we'll go ahead with Dr. Asim Sil. Dr. Asim Sil sir, can we just load your presentation about the joy of service? Can you please load Dr. Asim Sil, please? Sir, please come.
Indeed, it's I think very, very nice way of looking into how to develop leadership amongst the younger generation. And this particular session, which is really interestingly something which is going to be challenging from both sides. People are going to become a leader and people who already think they are leaders. I think we can start with Dr. Lahane. Sir, he's not here. So can you go to Dr. Asim Sil?
Yes, I'm ready.
Sir, he's going to talk about something which is also, important. Joy of service. And he has done so much of work in the last so many years, dedicated. And he has a passion to do his work in such a manner, which I think many people will get incentive to do something like him. And his work is a real example for all of us to follow that and how to think in a different directions.
Yeah. Can I have the presentation? Thank you very much, sir, for your kind words. Good afternoon, everybody. Prashant asked me to talk on joy of service, and I readily agreed. Service is, often we think that it is synonymous with charity, but service comes with responsibility and commitment. And the first question, whom do we serve? Of course, we treat individuals irrespective of their identities, but serving the underprivileged people needs a different mindset. I liked this quotation from Professor Muhammad Yunus, who was a Nobel Peace Prize awardee. He says that poor people are like the bonsai trees. So there is nothing wrong with the seed, but they are planted in a flower pot, they can't grow. So if we realize this thing, then our dignity for service to the less fortunate will be definitely better. So this picture I took in Mayavati in Himalayas. So one gentleman was carrying his ailing mother on the back. Very heart-touching scene I saw. There I saw people walking in the mountains with the bleeding feet, but no complaint. I have seen people collecting drinking water with difficulty in the Sundarbans, no complaint. They carry patients. This is the local ambulance in the villages in Sundarban, no complaint. So why should we complain? We need to serve people meaningfully. The common people teach us patience and resilience. There are plenty of examples that we see. For them, survival is their first priority, and healthcare is yet to get a due place in the list of priorities in their lives in India. If they cannot reach us, we should reach out to them and provide equitable service to people in a socially and economically acceptable way. Here I remember my conversation with my guru, Dr. Venkateswamy. He was my mentor. We were driving out of Madurai city, and Chief said to me, look outside. We were passing by Arapalayam bus stand, I remember. He asked me, look outside, do you see more people driving or walking? I replied, there are more people walking, sir. He asked me, how far do you think they can walk? I answered, about 4 to 5 kilometers, and they have to take rest. And what about the people who are driving cars? Sir, they can go much farther. Then he said, right. So remember, if you really want to help the world, you should do something to help the people who are walking. And that actually became my mantra of life. He used to talk very little, but this was a memorable conversation between he and me, and it is recorded in his biography, Infinite Vision. So this is some of my personal pictures. My induction to social work was through Ramakrishna Mission way back in 1989. We used to go in the islands of Sundarban in these country boats. Later, when we got the opportunity, now we have organized the service involving the team. So we can easily go to the villages carrying slit lamp, indirect ophthalmoscope. Now everything is portable, trial boxes, everything. So we have organized this thing. But there are hurdles, many, many hurdles, but no one should stop us. Usually, I don't know how many of you have idea about the high tide and low tide. If it is low tide in the rivers, you have to walk through the muds. But that should not stop us. So ultimately, when you reach the shore with your muddy feet, you have enjoyed your work. And of course, everybody has talked about team building. Team building is very, very essential. And the leader makes the team aware of the social realities and values. And leader shows the way how to accept the reality and enjoy serving people and consciously maintaining social linkages, because eye care is not a standalone activity, and expose the team members to various kinds of social activities whenever opportunity comes. So I just show one picture of flood relief. See, they are all eye care workers in different positions, how they are shifting the food items from the village inside the island. So here I think the empathy is born. And of course, case stories are very strong instrument for creating service-mindedness inside the worker's mind. And the leader's responsibility is highlighting the essential elements of the case story that talk about the human values in the story. I show you a picture. In this house, there were 5 individuals out of 9, including the smallest kid, was blind from bilateral genetic cataract. And definitely when you reveal this case story to your fellows, they develop different kind of mind while serving those people. So healthcare workers are responsible members of the society. So they respond to the call of the country, and they have a tremendous willingness to volunteer that I have discovered during the Amphan cyclone in 2020. That was COVID time as well. This was kind of devastation we had in Sundarban areas. And the person who is carrying the huge load of bottles, he is an optometrist. And the 2 persons, they are our outreach workers. They are carrying the food item in the boats and sailing in the boat for 6 hours and reaching the islands like this with the food items and water. So I just quoted from my Amphan diary. I wrote a diary about that. Once it happened that we were carrying huge load of food items for one island, but there was a roadblock and we got stranded for 4 hours. And then we decided that we will hand over our food items to a local contact person and he will distribute it to the villages. We reached that place around 2 a.m., but the young team members, comprising of optometrists, drivers and all, they said all were very unhappy with their half-hearted effort. One of them proposed, can't we try to reach some of the islands where we are supposed to go? Otherwise, we shall be doing the job of a transporter who carry items from place to place. Sir, हम लोग तो वो ट्रक ड्राइवर जैसे खाना लाके यहाँ offload कर दिया. उधर नहीं जा सकते. They actually wanted to meet the people who are suffering. So we agreed and we did the relief work till evening. And see how our young optometrists, ladies, they are climbing the boat. So initially I thought it will not be possible for me to follow them. Then they said, sir, don't mind, come. They lended their hand, I caught their hand, and I could also jump inside the boat and travel for hours. So this is the joy of service. And what do you get out of service? We get our livelihood, our social recognition, our professional satisfaction, then we be part of well-being of the others and contribute to the economic growth of the country, and we attain higher level of happiness. And I'm not going to show you the detail of the picture of the video. Here is one child. When I did the cataract surgery, he was only 4 months old. Later on, this is the picture many years later. He is able to read anything using computer or cell phone, and he is able to catch a cricket ball. That means he has stereopsis. So when you see a boy, and now I heard that he is now a student of engineering in Patna. So that actually gives you the energy. So there you get the joy of service. And of course, service is never without pain. So great people attain higher spiritual levels through service to mankind. They are able to dissociate commitment of service from the personal sufferings. Rabindranath Tagore is a great example. I am giving you one example. Some of you might know Professor T.N. Jagadishan. He was a pioneer social worker in the field of leprosy. So his autobiography is named Fulfillment Through Leprosy. And here he writes, I am reading, in the months when our late daughter Meena, the wheelchairer, developed bed sores, it was not easy to proceed with the writing, but the very sweetness and patience in suffering was also an inspiration. Over the years, I have realized the value and meaning of suffering and its power to elevate one's spirit. It was this realization that made me a happy warrior and enabled me to find my fulfillment through leprosy. His life was full of sorrows, starting from his own suffering from the disease to losing family members. But he conquered everything. He became a champion. He was a close associate of Mahatma Gandhi. So I have visited his ashram in Malavantangal, close to Villupuram. So just few days back, one of my students took this picture. These two pictures are taken 12 years apart. Then I told him, why did you take this picture? He said, I found similarity, the way patients look at you. So when you are examining a child, he found this picture in Facebook. The same look was there. I said, yes, they make our life meaningful. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Asin. It was wonderful to listen to you, and the way you have taken your services to the community is really wonderful. And wish you all the more power to do service to this type of to the society. Thank you again for highlighting your work.
Thank you, sir.
Dr. Tinku Bali is here. Can I invite Dr. Rohit to be on the chair? It's my turn. Dr. Lahane has not come.
Our next speaker would be Dr. GP185, and we cannot have a better person than him to talk to us about the joy of teaching. He heads the All India Institute of Medical Sciences and has got tremendous years of experience both as an astute clinician and as an academician. So over to you, sir.
Thank you very much, and good afternoon, all the teachers and leaders sitting today. And I appreciate this program, which makes people to think they are leaders and they are teachers. Because if you are a leader, you have to be a teacher also. So I'll take you through the various aspects of areas where you enjoy teaching your students, yourself, or your colleagues as such. I would really think that, training or teaching begins from the right, in a medical teaching wise. If you get into a MBBS, that gives you a foundation to think what area you're going to look after that. And the residency and fellowship programs are going to make you an ophthalmologist. And there, whatever you have read in your entire career, theoretical knowledge, has to be translated into practical aspect, so that you can impart your knowledge to our patient care and build up the society, as we just heard Dr. Asif. Similarly, that can be bridged only by teaching. So teaching is one bridge factor between the theory to a practical translation of somebody. And teaching is one of the most important aspects of life. And what all things are important in teaching to make one ophthalmologist who can be named as a good ophthalmologist. First thing is to be, he has or she has to be a good clinician, so that he can diagnose a patient well, treat the patient well, and if needed, become a good surgeon. I think these two important things are, you all know, we all think of these two things only. You have to be a good surgeon, good surgeon, good surgeon. Ultimately, that is not a comprehensive teaching what you do. You have to be a good teacher. To become a good teacher, you have to go through all the steps of a learning, right from the basics to advanced teaching as such. And that will only make you a team player. I would say, is somebody a teacher, so he is a team person. And that is how we would like to build, to think about the human being. If you treat the human being as a human being, you're definitely going to become a leader in future also. And that's what teaching takes you through. This is a very old slide of ours. Like, this is Professor L.P. Agarwal sitting in the middle of a bench amongst the top or mentors in the past. Way back in around 57 years back, RP Center was established. That time we never thought about future, but he had a future of that particular time. He had created 16 or a specialty at that time only, which we still follow. And this has given a direction for us to look into those areas where teaching can be imparted to make our ophthalmologists or students better teacher for future also. Now we are looking beyond this also, thinking in different directions, which will actually take you through the training process. These are 5 aspects I'm going to highlight here. What makes a good teaching for a student? In that, there are 3 important things I've highlighted here. People can look into this. Bedside teaching, group discussions, and teaching in the clinics and OPD area also. Most importantly, it is the patient who's your actual teacher. If there are patients, then we can think of a disease, we can think of treating, managing these. If patients are not there, what's the point being a doctor there also? So we have to really respect the patient as such. And more importantly, I would say, the training of a student begins with your own learning. If you are well-versed with the learning processes, you can be a better teacher also. This is what we do in RP Center. We do have a proper assessment of patient. We have an indoor system. It is a 320-bedded hospital. We still admit patients. We have various daycare services, but admission is necessary for most areas. That gives you an importance of interacting with patient, gathering data, generating different diagnosis, discussion. But more importantly, this worker in our hospital is supervised by the senior resident in the evening rounds. The next day morning, there's an entire faculty group taking the round, where you can see I'm interacting with the students here. This brings out the questions, discussion on a particular diagnosis of patient sitting there. In fact, I tell my students, this is the examination you face. Every day, a teacher has to go through her own examination as such by bringing the students together also. So this is what also we do. We look for a art of history taking, which makes you do examination, reasoning, protocols, skills, and most importantly, to acquire the confidence of managing the patient also. Group discussion is very important. Like you're sitting here, it's a group discussion, where you can discuss things, come out from your hesitation, be a confident person, and think of doing something extraordinary by compiling the knowledge of your group. So this is what important thing we learned right from the MBBS time, where one patient was targeted by a group of students and the faculty to take a class on that. Teach the various important aspects of a skill of examination, clinical examination, showing the findings to students, discussing those findings, importance of those findings, then planning the further investigation, diagnosis, and management. So that is a very important aspect of learning in the OPD or clinics. And subsequently, teaching should be imparted on, especially on a counseling part nowadays. Once you have so much of social media, Google, artificial intelligence coming, your counseling has to be different now. And that you have to learn every day, have a proper recordings, and use of artificial intelligence, telemedicine is going to make a huge difference in the future also. So that is very, very important aspects of learning clinical skills, which we teach to our students, and we get reversal from their side also. Surgical training is also very important. We know that these are various aspects of surgical training, right from the lectures to wet labs to other areas. In wet lab also, you require a preceptor. You require a teacher to give them the actual knowledge how to go about these surgeries also. We do have a lot of videos on a wet lab training also. Apart from that, we do have a dry lab as teaching areas where you know how to do gonioscopy, indirect ophthalmoscopy, various aspects can be done, retinoscopy can be done also. And this is one important thing we always talk about, looking into a surgical video-based teaching, which normally happens by showing your own videos first, then explaining every step of that surgery, then looking to the video recorded by students. And discussion on them is very, very important aspect also. The most important thing which I felt in my journey as a student, now as a teacher, is appreciation of your student. It's one of the very important aspects of teaching. Once you appreciate your student, you become a better person to interact with. And that is what we normally do it. And always pointing out the areas where he or she can improve further, and look for areas where complications happen, then think of why this has happened. How could have we prevented this? That is how the teaching should go in these cases also. These are newer ways to learning. You have a digital microscope, you have a screen where you can see with the polarized glasses, 3D images, sitting inside the OR and seeing what your teacher is doing, and that will make things better also. Individual assessment can be done. You can see from the side view, and each step can be looked in this. So this is what I think important thing is. The greatest teaching is learning from your own mistakes or from others' mistakes also. Once you pick up this line and this becomes your motto, you'll always become a better teacher for the future also. This is one case I like to put an example how we should learn by mistake also. This is one case who was supposed to undergo cataract surgery. So by mistake, the resident doctor blocked the other eye, which are not supposed to be operated. And patient then was sent home because they were so aggrieved. And ultimately, patient went out and got surgery done other areas also. So these mistakes can make you a lot of things to highlight. You have to learn from your mistakes. And ultimately, this case went to court, and the AIMS had to pay a compensation to the court for not being representing the various hearing of that particular case also. So learning from mistakes is very important. Operating wrong eye gives a lot of important things. This is what we looked into. We developed our own way of a surgical checklist. And these are various things we learn. So this I'm showing because we have to learn from the mistakes also. Other area is teaching will always be important to have infrastructure where people should have access to various newer things where people can learn. Don't let things go away from your hand. Always catch up to the newer thing happening in your area also. These are various programs. Structured programs should be there, and they should be accredited. Certification should be there in these patients. And ultimately, I think most important part of teaching is to have a evidence-based teaching or a research. These two things go together. Otherwise, you'll never enjoy teaching unless you have something evidence-based. So this is what we think of, doing research. Look always things which are important. You are doing MD thesis, you are doing a fellowship accreditation research program, that should be published. So this is one example of how evidence-based teaching can improve your thinking. So this is what we looked into posterior polar cataracts. We could classify them by knowing what type of posterior polar you get. Subsequently, modern way to look into a surgical aspect also. This is another way of thinking. How do I make my students appreciate what is happening in your case? So this is one example of a D-sec surgery where I used to push the pressure in the anterior chamber to push the D-sec lenticle up to the stroma and wait for a 10, 15, 20 minutes thinking the graft will get attached. So we thought, why not to do a OCT-based analysis? Then we realized if you see a case control studies, compare various ways to do it, and the graft gets attached within a minute. and that can be appreciated by your OCT picturization also. Similarly, this is another example. So documentation is very important to make your teaching understandable by your students also. Thesis as a bridging the gap between the student and a teacher is important. And this research should be published in a publication, published in the books, chapters, and most importantly, represent your research work, clinical work in the international forums, conferences, get your videos selected by various organizations, get awards, appreciation, best paper. This is how it takes you there. So this is one important aspect which is important for us to understand. The comprehensive learning, improving skill can happen. We can impart that in your residency program or fellowship program. But what about the other areas which subsequently people are going to discuss here? Running your own entrepreneurship. People talked about Dr. Mahipal Sajde, Dr. Arun Singhvi, or Arvind Group, Sankanetala. This only can happen by better teaching, better training, and better professionalism in your case also. Towards the end, I think this is one of most important area for teaching which people are missing. People have to become an administrator also. You have to manage your area. The teaching should be directed not only clinical and surgical work, but importantly, look for other areas. How to build up your institution to bring the teaching as a primary focus. Budget, research, administrative work. Look for other areas like answering various questionnaires from your patients, improving related areas. This is what a comprehensive teaching would be for your patient also. The joy of teaching is building the future. If you think in that direction, you'll always enjoy your teaching. Our aim is to achieve the good foundation amongst the younger generation, give them a good training, build their institutions, and give them to thinking they can choose the right subspecialty for future training for themselves and build the area also. Make them a good doctors. Empathetic, ethical practice should be there. I would say today's students are tomorrow's mentor. That is what we should think of. Teaching should always be joy, and that is what we think of. Thank you again for listening.
Thank you, sir, for that very insightful talk. I'm sure it was very useful not only for the students, but also for the teachers. Thank you so much. It was a pleasure listening to you. So with that, I invite our next speaker, a doyen in the world of ophthalmology, a passionate teacher, an able administrator, and a prolific surgeon. Padma Shri Dr. T.P. Lahane is someone whose leadership has taken the Bombay Ophthalmological Society from strength to strength. Today, he'll be speaking to us on rebuilding an organization, the Bombay Ophthalmological Association. Looking forward to hearing you, sir.
Sir, laga. Which one, sir? Which one?
Okay. Sorry for the late. Good afternoon. Everybody on the dais and up the dais. Now this topic is some different topic, and it was given to me by Prashant because he has seen the development of BOA. So I will just Bombay Ophthalmological Association. The problems in front of BOA was, the conference was less than 300 delegates when I took over. The maximum consumer cases against the ophthalmologist and the harassment of the ophthalmologist by the cashless people. So these were the problems, and then there was a general body meeting where I took over the. Now basic is gaining the members' confidence was the first thing. Now here we organized the CME in different medical colleges because that time there was no money with BOA. Then hands-on training of the FECO and SICS to not only the resident but also the faculty, because that time faculty was also new for the FECO. And workshop of the SICs, we conducted 3 workshops of SICs and also the 7 workshops of the FECO emulsification. Now the membership, BOA was having only 700 members, and now today the non-members ophthalmologists were requested to join BOA. Outside Mumbai, ophthalmologists were also permitted to join BOA, and gradually the BOA member increased to now near about 2,000. The annual conference, that time, when I took over, all the members were invited for the annual conference, requested to come. Trade was also invited. And first conference was attended by 700 delegates. And the trade, 32 people took this part in the conference. And this was the first time that we started the live demonstration in the Bombay Ophthalmic Association. Now basically whatever we collect from trade, it should go to the doctors. That is what we always feel. And the registration fees was only 500 for all the delegates for 3 days. In that, we were giving 5 lunches, means 3 lunches and 2 dinner, and 3 breakfast, and also a bag. This time we gave a bag of near about 3,000 rupees. And the maximum benefit which we are collecting, it should go to each and every member. And today also our fees is only 1,000 rupees. Bombay ophthalmologist, our registration fees is 1,000. Now the consumer cases are due to own colleagues. Who are those colleagues who criticizes in front of the patient, who later on goes in court of law? Now who are those colleagues? Those are close to you. They are not away from you. They are very close to you. And own friends, your own friends. And this is only curse to the doctors. See, everybody is united except doctors. We criticize our friends when we talk very sweet in on face. And once he goes, then we say, "To gada hai." It means only the doctor community, we criticize each other. You go to the IAS, IPS, advocates, politicians, they will not criticize except the doctors. I think that is curse to our society. How we reduce this? Now we expose one person who told that the lens is implanted opposite. It means upside down. And because of that, patient has got the glaucoma. That patient went in the court of law. And then I called him on the dais, Girish. I called him on the dais. I told him कि भाई, you have told this patient कि upside down होने से glaucoma हुआ है. You show me one anywhere research paper कि where upside down myopia, yes, -2 myopia, I agree, but it is not a glaucoma. So what you have told to the patient is wrong. Now tell that patient that you advise him wrongly and ask him to take the case back. And this was publicly in BOA in front of 500 people. And once he was asked every question there, and second day that patient removed the case. And from that day till date, this was 2004, till date, there is not a single case, consumer case, against the Bombay ophthalmologist in court at all. Not a single case. It's only Mumbai where there is not a single case against a doctor. So that is because we are not criticizing because of only my pressure. That they know, I will call them, and in front of everybody I will ask them the questions. And because of that, nobody is criticizing each other. So that should happen. So we have reduced the consumer cases. The cashless is a big problem. So they were giving only 18,000 rupees to the cataract, and they want a premium lens, and we should not charge more. So general body meeting was called, problems were discussed, and then it was unanimously decided that we ban the cashless. We have banned the cashless from near about now 16 years. We are not practicing. Few of the corporate hospitals are practicing, but we are not practicing. And now insurance, they are now ready that copay. It means you can operate whatever the insurance is going to give, but now they are allowing us a copay. It means patient can pay. That is what is the discussion, and within 1 month or 2 months we will solve this issue, not for Maharashtra, but for total India. So co-pay will be permitted in the cashless. This is just because of ban on cashless for 16 years. Then the other thing is live demonstration. Only the scientific live demonstrations was permitted. No trade drive on live demonstration or a single presentation in BOA till date from the company. So that is what is our motto. And the different and new advances were demonstrated, not only the cataract in conference, so very well attended. This time it was attended by 1,500 delegates, the small, live demonstration. Now the trade partition, the large number of the trade participation was the key to success. So trade is also our one of the partner who helps us. And we take care of the trade, give them lunch, give them coupons equal to the doctor so that they can talk to the doctor, meet the doctor. And because of only one thing, that we are giving the lunch. So few people are there who are here, who gave us 1 lakh rupees, and minimum 20 people from them they attend. We gave them 3 days coupon, so it goes to near about 1 lakh, more than that. It is a neutral, we are not earning from them, but that 20 people are coming there, that is more important. And so, the trade, once it is called that BOA, this is the date, second day you will get near about 3 crore rupees in 1 day. So that is because of the, you can say the trade, which definitely helps us, and because of that, we are more successful in Bombay Ophthalmic Association. And so, fees of 1,000 is sufficient for us. After that also we make a profit. And Mumbai today, we are having near about 16 crore profit of Bombay Ophthalmic Association in last 14 years. Now under the leadership of Dr. Ragini Parekh, from 14 years, Dr. Ragini is taking care of the scientific committee. Now 6 members were make the scientific program, and which every delegate want to attend and learn. Because whenever we do the program, in the program only scientific theme, Ragini sits with the people, and with that we decide what is the topic, what is the new topic, and Ragini gives the topic to the faculty. Now these are the topics, and she organizes the scientific material, and because of that you will see the people are in the hall and not outside the hall, because the topics of their interest are there in the scientific material, and maximum delegates are always inside the hall due to the excellent program. It means it is a program that attracts the people inside the. Now active committee. Every year there is a new and old organizing committee with active members who always take pain for a successful program. Because so many members are there, so many. So they work day and night, and because of that, this society is successful society. And the maximum national faculty is invited, and they are honored with the ticket. But few people are there. One of the person from AIMS asked us, the Tital sir, one of the person from AIMS asked us this business class ticket, 50,000 rupees, self-invited, ask हमको बुलाओ, and 50,000 ticket reimbursed. I told no, we will not reimburse that type of ticket. So some people are there, but we near about the reimbursed ticket of everybody. Stay and registration we organize. Maharashtra faculty also we call, and faculty from our own. So near about 386 people as a faculty, they are there in the Bombay Ophthalmic Association. And because of this, I think the association is successful. I think the key is less fees, registration fees should be less, excellent scientific material. We must attract the trade, but we should not be, you can say, listen to the trade. And if you do that, then we will be successful. And for that, I think the people who are working day and night, like Dr. Ragini and her 6 people who are working day and night, they have definitely done good thing. And so Bombay Ophthalmic Association is an excellent organization politically, scientifically, and also for togetherness. If you call tomorrow you are not practicing, everybody will stop the practice. That is what the Association of Mumbai. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Professor Lahane, sir. Indeed, we have seen the actual growth of any society that has been BOA, and the type of, I would highlight one important thing is, it's like your own meeting. It's not that you're going to Mumbai, and that has made a huge difference. And the academic excellence has been one of the pioneer thing which has brought this entire society up. I think our focus has to be academics and giving the respect to every generation of people. That is what they have done. From the young generation to the people who have now feel they are mentors, they all are together. And one thing I appreciate BOA is, that one day on a live surgical sessions has been the highlight for so many years, and which has really given us the way to look into how to impart the training in our difficult situations. Because live surgery is a difficult situation per se. Though there's a lot of debate going on, but I per se feel that, surgical demonstration is one way of a learning, which gives you a skill improvement also. We'd like to thank Dr. Lahane and team for making us feel so comfortable for so many years. Not only, not only for me, for the entire group of people. Thank you. I think we can go to next. I think we have Dr. Colonel Pradeep Kumar, who's going to talk about the joy of serving the nation. I think nothing bigger than, serving the nation, and people who are in armed forces, the medical services have been one of the important things they have considered. I've seen myself the improvement happening in the medical services in armed forces in last around 2 decades. Now they are the pioneer in every field. So let's hear Dr. Pradeep.
Thank you so much for the kind introduction, sir. And firstly, I'd like to thank AIUS for inviting me. And I'll be speaking about the pride of serving the nation. And I'd like to highlight some leadership aspects while we try to serve the country. So this will be the structure of my presentation. I'll start with an anecdote. This is the usual scenario where we are serving in our initial years. And as a young captain, I was serving in these mountains. And I'll start with this story about a cold blue man. So on a fine evening when the snowstorm is going on, the orderly comes, thumps, and says proudly that, sir, a cold, motionless person has arrived in the MI room. So MI room is not the myocardial infarction room, it's our medical inspection room. It is akin to the accident and emergency of a peripheral hospital. And we asked certain questions that who bought this man, why this man is here, and why is he blue? We learned that these people who had bought this man were from the no man's land. The no man's land extends between our fence and the enemy post. And the gentleman who had come, allegedly he had come from UAE, did not have identity papers. His father alleged that he had asthma, forgotten inhalers. So straightforward case of status asthmaticus. Now, the questions which came to my mind was that, do I take the responsibility of this man or try sending him away to the district hospital, which is 8 hours away? What happens if he dies under my care? It can be painted as a custodial death. And whether these people are anti-national or not. So the treatment, the options which were in front of me were to refer the patient out, hand over the person to my warrior colleagues who were ready to identify that who these people are, and by that time the delay in treatment will occur, or to start the treatment at the peripheral center, which is not equipped to ventilate a man for 8 hours. Now, why I bring this out is the leadership aspect in such decision making. There are no right or wrong choices here. Each option has its own merit and demerit. And it is simply the delay which is taken in deciding what to do, which decides the fate of every case. Now, mind you, this decision was taken by a 22-year-old who had just finished his internship. And the key aspect was that to realize that every action that a leader takes has consequences, and many a time these consequences are personal, even to jeopardize his own career. A weak leader is one who delays trying to take a decision or takes a populist decision, which more than not is not the correct thing to do. But when you're serving the interest of the nation, things become a little simpler. Because every time you think that how this decision will impact the fabric of my country, the image of my nation. So either this person could have been an Indian citizen where army would have been highlighted as safeguarding a citizen's life, or he could have been an enemy nation where we would have been shown as a merciful army, even catering to our enemy country. And Indian army is trained to do the impossible on each and every single occasion. So we decided to look after this person, started the standard treatment, and we were very fortunate that help right from my neighboring unit. And we were able to save this life. The narrative was set that we saved a man against such adversity and winning the hearts and minds of the local population. The battalion was awarded in a district function. So there's nothing great about it. This is an innocuous act for most of you. In a metropolitan city, you'll say this was a routine emergency. What was so great about it? But you have to understand that this was done at a place which is far remote in a jungle, extremely cold, where your hands don't move because it's minus 10 degrees. The MI room is exactly a tent. The total amount of drugs and equipment I have are 100 kgs worth of weight. So it requires confidence in your ability and trust in your system. If you believe in the organization, then only you are able to perform. So the underlying point is that leaders are not born when there are opulent resources, but they are born in the age of starvation. So unless you have seen mere resources and try to perform better, you will not become a leader. The next point is why serve? So it was beautifully brought out by a censor that why serve? A normal person thinks on the Milo's hierarchical needs, and for them, self-esteem and actualization are very late in the ladder. But in army, we train a person to strive to learn to become a leader. When we join, we all follow the same pyramid. During our training, our needs, which are physiological and based on safety, take a lower priority. We are taught to develop our own self-esteem, and by the time we are at war, we are into the mode of self-actualization. For us, the definitions are different. War is a constant, and we need not fight only against human, but also against human suffering. The battle is not only against our adversaries, but also against adversity. And the greatest adversity which the country faces is poor healthcare. The nation can be built by land, people, government, but you need an army to protect all these. And that is where our pride arises in serving this army. This has been my journey. At 16, I had to pledge myself to the armed forces. By 21, I was at a zonal hospital. By 22, 4 years of field service. Got a chance to do my post-graduation. At 30, I went back to field. And at 34, very fortunate that I joined AIMS for my Retina Fellowship. Now, this is how every army personnel serves. The joy comes because of the respect that you garner from your patients, your colleagues. There's a definite job security, there's a healthy lifestyle, and there's a community which develops around you, which will support you throughout your life.
Started our journey. We have left this shore. Now we are going into the middle of this very powerful river.
And where does the pride arises? The pride arises that because we are looking after the warriors who are defending our country, we do not have any discriminatory class in our army. We only respect the rank that you serve, and the rank structure follows. There are no financial implications when we are treating a patient, so you take the best possible decision for your patient. And we serve everyone from the Lamas in Ladakh to the Adivasis in Andaman, from the Swatantrata Senanis to the honorable presidents. Leadership in army arises out of a jugglery of the situation you are given, the group that you are to lead, and your own personal assets. In army, a military leader is taught to achieve results over the comfort of the people that you command. But you need not be an authoritarian leader all the time. You can be a democratic leader. And the level of management decides what kind of leader you have to be. So this is a point which I bring out to all the youngsters who are here, that if they have to reach the top, they have to decide that what kind of skills they have to develop. A conceptual skill, if it is nurtured, will definitely lead your way forward. And to excel as a leader, each one of you can look at this table and identify yourself that which stage you are at. As an ophthalmologist, the last anecdote that I'll bring out, that in 2012 I was in Upper Assam. We had a hospital which was looking after the local population for cataract surgeries, but our clientele was very few. The annual cataract surgery rate for non-military personnel was 170, and our district blindness control society projected an unmet need of 93%. The poor subscription was leading to a budget reduction. So we had no money, no patient, no modern equipment. How to improve the condition? So there was a tremendous challenge because the social fabric of Upper Assam was divided based on the tribes, the caste, the religion, native state, and economic disparity, and to add to that, the floods. There was a dearth of knowledge. That is why the intermediaries which had to give our message to our clientele were taking out political mileage out of this. So we decided to move out of our social comfort zone. We did a door-to-door approach, identified potential youth leaders in the society, empowered them by giving them access to mass media, and the initial surgical part, we motivated the social establishment, the civil establishment to take care, taking the patient from their home to the hospital and back. The success rided out slowly. I will skip this part in need of the time, and these were our successful camps which saw attendance of over 577 cataract surgeries. So the take home from a soldier's perspective is that serving the nation has no equal. And sacrifice is the way to Almighty, and there is no better sacrifice than to your motherland. And from a leader's perspective, the leadership opportunity will always arise in inclement condition. You rise up and fight. A true leader will always adapt, evolve. The trust and loyalty which we gain in army is not a given in your organization. So each organization has to build its own army if it has to succeed. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Pradeep Kumar. I salute the spirit for the nation.
Thank you, sir.
Really, you have done very good work. Salute. And whatever you have, I think, guided to the people that how you can tackle the emergency and what you are doing for the people and on the border. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
So now I will call upon none other than Dr. Rohit Shetty sir. He is going to speak to us on the research and business can go hand in hand. You know that he is from Narayan Netralaya, and one day he will be Nobel laureate, I think, one day. Best wishes.
Thank you, sir. And it's been a wonderful hour of listening to such wonderful stories. I think that's the essence and spirit of this meeting here, to get inspired. So my story or my discussion today is on research and business. Can it go hand in hand? I do receive grants for my work from various organizations, and many of the things which I might show here might have an financial interest in the future. So one of the most important thing is to identify an idea, and this is on business, but this can be on any front. And when you look at an idea, the biggest challenge is how this idea has an impact maybe in the next 10 years. If you have not really thought of an idea which can change, which can be a disruptive in the way it is taught and it's executed. Many of our ideas are always extremely one-sided. It's always run-of-the-mill concepts, pick up something from here and there, and just that's never going to work. If you really look at the concept about this book, what if has to be the main fundamental format of how you have to look at research as a business. Because if you're looking at research as a business today, tomorrow, or in future, it cannot be looked at it from just through doing what everybody has done or everybody has thought about. So the biggest thing is you have to change the mindset. And the biggest mindset is, what if people laugh at you? If say that I want to do something so extraordinarily different, they are going to laugh at you. If they don't laugh at you, that idea is not worth trying. And I've been laughed at all my life, and it's okay, because at the end of 10 years, you show what you've done. Because the ones you don't laugh at, once people don't make a mockery of it, are the ones which is done by everybody else. So that are not disruptive, and that's the most important thing if you're looking at a business. So when you look at any business, you look at the business model gaps. What are you looking at if you were to convert your idea into business? For that, do you have a clear system? Do you have an effective team? And to do that, it's like this boat. You have to move out of your comfort zone. So any business, if you look at any, I come from a city of startups, and I do have a lot of patients and friends. So every startup which has worked well has one which has moved out of comfort zone. And those people have done the same thing and never worked out. So that is very important. A simple thing, there's a new startup joint which makes, called Rameshwaran Coffee. They make masala dosas. And everybody makes masala dosa in Bangalore. It's very difficult not to find one. What is his USP? You go to his shop, he uses ghee, a fresh ghee in front of everything, and squeezes it. And everything is made of ghee. I mean, healthy or not healthy is a different thing. And he makes a profit of, he says, Kamath is something, he makes a profit of 5.5, 6 crores a month just by making those dosas. So the question is, that's his USP, and he thought about it, and when others people were hiding ghee in their kitchen. And building a startup is about, when you look at, you have to find a solution, find a problem, what you want to make it into a business. It's like solving a Rubik's Cube. It's one point at a time. So first, when you identify, you have to really look at, do you need to have a group of people, or you want to do solo? It's impossible to do solo, because you need, if you want to have a big idea, you have to have people who can make it big. And if you have one thing I keep telling a lot of innovators, there are a lot of youngsters I see who present in Apple Tree and other places. Do not present, publish, show in any form till you have planned to patent, or you have done some kind of patent work, if your idea is really good. Coming here and putting it, if this is always recorded, and maybe Dr. Prashant or Krishna Prasad Kudlu will keep sending it every month, then you're out. The patent lawyer has asked, if it's there on the net, it's no longer a novelty. So that's very important to be understood. And these are all things which I don't want to spend my time. But you have to understand that you have to adapt, and you have to look at, why do you want to do something? There are pharma industries. You want to work on the pharma aspect. You want to work on something, adapt something which is not existing. And the most important thing is, how do you stop trying to follow what is already being done? This is a very difficult thing, because it's so easy. I go to PubMed, I get 25 papers, I find what I want. And how do you build your own? So what did we do? We started looking at, first 10 years just went in, putting a lot of money into it. And this point of time, I thank our late chairman, who never asked why so much of our resources goes doing nothing. Maybe publish a few papers, build a team which is going to be for the next 10 years or 20 years. For the 10, it's like watering a plant. You never know what is going to, you may never be there to receive the fruit of that plant, but you have to keep doing it, because the next generation gets it. And if you don't have that vision, then you can't make a big business model. Everything else is small, making a small instrument, making a OCT, making a handheld thing. Those are all small things. I'm just giving a larger picture, because you should think big. Whether it happens or not is different. You need to keep meeting people. You have to talk to people who speak different languages. share ideas, and be always on the regulatory front. Never break anything. There are so many times we figured out we could have broken so many small, because there was no law, especially when it comes to gene therapy, regenerative medicine. But we made the law. We were part of the regulation. It took 8 years to go for the government to have a regulatory body on gene therapy. 8 years back, we could have just done it on any patient, and I don't think we'd have any problem. But law, if you want to go by law, it takes time. A simple example, 8 years back, we decided we want to go gene therapy. Because now you see that there is a gene, in 5 years or 8 years, every disease will have one or the other means of regenerative, reparative therapies. So you have to be, if you want to be in the business, you have to think ahead, and you have to pick the scent before it becomes aroma to the world. If you're not, then everybody will do it. So this started around 9 years back, so much of funding to it, building a team. And you can see all these factors. Because we know, this is like watering that plant, because you know in next 10 years, you will have every disease, whether I am working with leukemias, I'm working with hemophilias, muscular dystrophies. It's nothing to do with ophthalmology. This is going to be the lab. You can manufacture many, many things in it. So it become business there. How you do it, then you know you have to work with companies. The companies will start working with you. We already, this year, we're going to start with the gene therapy called corneal dystrophies. There's a few of the slides where we're doing the animal experience. Beautiful results of how the dystrophy suddenly changes. You can see that this mark here, this is keratoconus, and you can see that just by drops, it just becomes strong. So you have to be disruptive in your thinking, because this is what is going to be a business model, not just because if you want to become big in the model, because these things, and you have to keep patenting it, you have to keep talking about it. Because there are a lot of people who will be shouting or like in this case, in the audience, but it's you have to figure out who is actually giving you advice and somebody who's actually in that domain. So that's very important. I'll skip these few things. Right questions is important. Drug development is a great idea for business. And you have to keep picking up these models, because the models has to be what the world needs. We started looking at new drugs, and there are few drugs which I've shown here which can regenerate the collagen itself. That means it becomes a collagen synthesizer. That means imagine the amount of role it has, both from the pharmaceutical industry and also, because you can see that, and you have to make an effort to go and put your money into animal experiments. You have to, and when you come to the market, you have to be ready, not just one-line ideas. That will never work. Curcumin, resveratrols, it's a few things which we have worked on. And always keep understanding about what makes you unachievable. And this is what I want to end here, saying that the business is all about finding what others have not seen and what is going to be the future in the next 5 years. Thank you.
Thank you, Rohit, for a wonderful presentation. I think whenever we listen to him, we always think that, something we should also aspire to do, because research is one area where if you think, it will remain in your mind only, it never comes out, but you have to execute that to a area where it can translate, and that requires a motivation, the dedication, establishment, which Rohit has done, and we are all proud of him, like he's one person who represents India in the world over. Thank you, Rohit, for doing wonderful work. Let's have Dr. Girish Rao. He's going to talk about how Sankara Nethralaya is shaped in as one of the premier institute of this country. And that represents, like anybody who tells that I'm a Sankara Nethralaya alumni, you can imagine that how well trained that person would be in all aspects. So let's hear Dr. Girish Rao.
Good afternoon, friends, and my sincere thanks to the ARC for this invite. Now, when I talk about leadership mantras that shaped Sankara Nethralaya, I think this actually is a homage to the late Dr. S.S. Badrinath, the guru of so many of us, mine too. Visionaries like him have built iconic center of excellences across the country with their vision, mission, and philosophy. And when I speak about the leadership mantras of Netralaya, I'm actually going to speak about leadership skills of Dr. Badrinath. In this 12 minutes, I may not be able to speak about all his leadership skills, but I might use the alphabets in his name to enumerate some of the skills that helped Netralaya be where it is right now. Way back in the 70s, after his training in the US, he was actually a little disillusioned by the kind of ophthalmology practice that was happening in India at that time, and was contemplating going back to the US. And it was then that the Paramacharya of Kanchi Math actually influenced him to do something for the country and stay back and bring about a change. And that's when he realized that change cannot happen with one person. He needs a team. He needed the support of the society. He needed the support of many other blocks to fall into place to bring about this change, be it the government in the form of the close collaborations with the center through the NPCB, or the state governments, various international organizations which are already doing pioneering work across the country, across the world, and center of excellences in academics. So he collaborated with this. He also found out that sitting in one location, it may be very difficult to reach out to the society at large, and that he needed to network with organizations, NGO organizations like the Lions Club, which was already doing tremendous work in eye care, Rotary, who had made a success of the smallpox campaign across the country. So he used that expertise of these people who are already in the field and tried to spread this community care and ophthalmic care, piggybacking on all these people. So the importance of building relationships were ingrained to him. He also knew that to support the kind of philanthropic work that he was doing, he needed the support of philanthropists. And across the spectrum in the country, be it a renowned musician, a very learned, skilled lawyer, or an astute businessman, he reached out to each and every one. He called himself a professional beggar. He said that he was not ashamed to go with a begging bowl to anyone who could give him some money to set up this institute and take it forward. But also equally important was the story of Miss Lakshmi Bai, who was from a small village called Urukai. She had diabetes, and this is in the late 90s, early 2000, and she was losing vision because of diabetes, but there was no one in her family to take her to a city or a center for treatment. And she started saving money to make that one last trip to Tirupati, so that she thought that I'll see my God for the last time before I lose my complete vision. And it so happened that our teleophthalmology team, which was doing the diabetes screening, reached her village, convinced her to come to Chennai, and we got her here and did a simple laser treatment. And by God's grace, she retained her ambulatory vision. But she was so moved with all this effort that she said that I don't need to go to a temple to see God. I can see God in the work that you're doing, and she gave away that 2,000 rupees so that we could continue the work here. So that was the kind of team building relationships, so that there was a perpetuity in the work that he was doing. It is also said that talent hits the target which no one can hit, but a visionary can hit a target that no one can see. And he was one of those visionaries. As Rohit said, you need to look into the future. You need to anticipate what's going to come much before the others move in. And he was that kind of a visionary. Be it the model of comprehensive ophthalmology, which was for the first time coming into the country in the 70s and 80s. The importance of technology, being the first movers in getting the state-of-art technology the integration of technology with information technology, and taking this to the rural through teleophthalmology in tie-up with ISRO and so many other organizations. I think these are things which really revolutionized the institute and ophthalmology in general. The importance of research, the basic sciences research, besides the clinical research. All these were ingrained in him, and some of the iconic studies that Shankar Nethralaya has been part of, the glaucoma studies, the SN dreams, the diabetic retinopathy, all did come because of his foresight. So for an organization to have a lasting imprint, it should last for generations to come, much beyond the time of its founder. So other thing that was very ingrained in anyone walking into Nethralaya was the importance of devotion. The devotion, single-minded devotion to the cause. So anyone who walked into the Nethralaya to become a part of Nethralaya, be it as an employee, as a student, as a consultant, had to be wedded to the single-minded devotion that Dr. Badrinath had, and that still continues to be the norm. You need to be wedded to the greater cause and work with that single-minded devotion, keeping the patient at the center of everything. And once you are wedded to that devotion, everything else falls into place. Spirituality, everything does have its own place in the society, but it is very important to take all of this along as you grow in the organization. He also realized that for an organization to sustain, it has to be a responsibility of each and every member of the family that's part of any organization. And the responsibility of maintaining this organization for perpetuity is also to go to areas where eye care is really needed. And though Shankar Nethralaya has not really followed a exponential expansion path, we did and we continue to go to areas where there is a genuine need and there is a genuine call from like-minded organizations to spread the eye care. As Rohit had said, it's also very important for a leader to be involved top-down. He shouldn't be just sitting at the pedestal. A leader should know what's happening right at the lowermost level, at class 3, class 4 employee. And Dr. Badrinath had that inculcated in every one of us. So he said that you have to treat everyone at par, whether he is a consultant, a receptionist, or a housekeeping staff, or a security, because each one of them is a brand ambassador for the organization. And that involvement with the organization, taking it as your own family business, having that empathy to the patient, keeping the patient care at the utmost, was very important. And I think that was very important for any organization to have a total involvement in the day-to-day affairs. Cannot just say that I'm a consultant and I'll just come and do my cataracts and go. You need to be invested in each and every step, try and improve the systems, try to move ahead with times. What is also important is to nurture leadership. Not just leadership for your own organizations, but leadership which can go on through this fellowship training programs, through the postgraduate training programs, through optometry programs, and n number of them, because these would go into the society and work as leaders for the future organizations to sustain and flourish. So the importance of nurturing leadership was very, very ingrained in the systems. I think academic institutes far outlive any of the other institutions in the country. So you may have businesses which come and go. You may have hospitals which might, over a period of time, lose its focus. But academics institutions live for centuries, and the importance of academics cannot be overemphasized. And Dr. Badrinath and the subsequent predecessors all found that academics is very important for any organization to sustain, very important to attract talent, to retain talent, and to perpetuate the nature. And as Dr. Titial was saying, Shankar Nethralaya is very proud to have alumni, and I might even quote that 1 in 12 ophthalmologists in India at present have some form of formal training at Shankar Nethralaya and are doing pioneering work, whether it's in their own private practice, in other institutes, or in societies like AIOS and others. Trust is foremost for any organization to sustain. And what is most important is to have the trust of the patient. So if the patient feels that you are doing your best for him, without fleecing him, without compromising on the quality, whether it's a paying patient or a free patient or a subsidized patient. And it takes years to build trust, but it can be lost in the matter of days or months. So it's very important that trust, and Shankar Nethralaya is built on the trust that has been very carefully built, nurtured, and cultivated for decades to come. And again, overall, what's ultimately important is to have that humane touch when you're delivering your best to the patients. And it's not just for the patients. You need to have a humane touch for dealing with your colleagues, with your subordinates, so that they feel that they are part of a family, and that's what sustains an organization for years to come. So Dr. Badrinath invested in people not only for the return that it would give to them, but for the greater benefit it would bring to humanity. So once again, I thank the IIOS for this opportunity, and in a way, for me to pay an homage to my guru. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Girish Rao, for that very interesting and insightful talk. Thank you so much. It was a pleasure listening to you. With that, we come to the end of the talks for this part of the program. And now we move on to introduce the new LDP batch. So the Leadership Development Program of the ARC-AIOS is a very unique program which tries to develop a leadership mindset in the participants. As you know, leaders are not born, they are made. And that is what we strive to do by inculcating the right, the right qualities, tell you how to take action and be an effective leader. So with that, I would like to introduce the new batch. Could you please project the slides? So Dr. Rajvinder Kaur. Dr. Rajvinder Kaur is our first member. Please come up to the stage and introduce yourself. You can come there and just say a few lines about yourself.
Good afternoon, everyone. Myself, Dr. Rajvinder. I am professor and head at Adesh Institute of Medical Sciences and Research. As I am in the teaching institute, so it is very important to be a leader. So we have already on the dais and in the audience, the females whom we look up to be the leaders. So that is all. And it will be a great learning from all the panelists and the audience also. And one-day program is a great learning today. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Our next member is Dr. Rajshri Hirawat, who is working as a consultant at the Kamdar Eye Hospital, Jodhpur. Please come up.
Good afternoon, everyone. Myself, Dr. Rajshri Hirawat. I have done my MBBS and MD from AIMS Delhi, and then headed to SN Chennai for Vitro-Retina Fellowship. So it's a very good learning about the leadership, and I'm very pleased to be here for this program. Thank you.
Thank you. The next slide, please. Dr. E. Kirtana, who is the head of the department of the Grimaltus Hospital in Chennai. Is she here? She's not here, so we'll go to the next person. Next slide, please. Dr. V. Devi Priya. She's a consultant medical retina at the Sankara Eye Hospital, Coimbatore. So please come up.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Dr. Devi Priya. I'm from Coimbatore, Tamil Nadu. I'm from the Shankara Eye Hospital. I'm a chief medical officer and medical retina consultant there. According to me, leadership is about becoming a master problem solver. But here, today, we are to learn from eminent personalities that leadership is all more, there are a lot of other dimensions to leadership as well. My ikigai in life is to lead a meaningful life, and I dream about leading a life of impact. Thank you.
Very well said. So, the next member, next slide please. Dr. Suparna Mahendra, who is a civil surgeon specialist in ophthalmology from Telangana. So,
a very good afternoon to all. On a lighter note, we were waiting for the introductions, so finally we got the chance. On a serious note, I'm thankful to the Telangana Ophthalmic Society and also to the All India Ophthalmic Society for giving us the chance to attend this program. This is an excellent platform where we are getting the chance to meet so many eminent personalities and listen to the experiences and talks. Apart from that, in addition to that, this is also a great platform to make too many friends. Thank you, All India Ophthalmic Society.
thank you. The next member is Dr. Uma Ganakurti, who's an assistant professor at the Sarojini Devi Eye Hospital, Hyderabad. Nice to have you. Do tell us something about yourself. You can also talk about your interest, hobbies, or anything interesting apart from
Good afternoon
ophthalmology.
all. I'm Dr. Uma, Assistant Professor, Sarojini Devi Eye Hospital. I expertised and did my fellowship in vitreoretinal services. First of all, I'd like to thank my state association for nominating me for this program, and also special thanks for AOS, Leadership Development Committee members and organizers for empowering us with such a great program and empowering with a lot of leadership qualities in us. Thank you.
Thank you. Next slide, please. Dr. Smita Mehra, who is a director and consultant at the Jeevan Jyoti Clinic, Dehradun. Is she here? She's not here, so we'll move on to the next person. Dr. Himani Chatterjee, who is a fellow refractive surgery and medical retina from RIO, Kolkata, and now she works at the Trinetralaya, Kolkata. Hi.
Good afternoon, everyone. I thank AIOS and ARC LDP program for giving us an opportunity to let us have this experience of the Leadership Development Program. Thank you so much. I'm looking forward to have a great time ahead. Thank you.
Ivani, you seem to be the youngest person today here, you know.
Yes, yes, sir.
So you heard so many things today. We talked about teaching, we talked about services, we talked about building the society.
Yes,
so what is your area of interest for building leadership on your part?
So since like I'm doing a fellowship in refractive surgery currently in Kolkata.
No, we are making you leader now.
So refractive surgery basically in Eastern India.
No. You have a passion for teaching, you have a passion for building a society, passion for setting up the private chains of hospitals.
Yes, sir.
Which one?
Sir, I have a passion for setting up my chain of hospitals in future.
Terrific.
And I'm looking forward to it.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
Looking for centers for many things. I don't know which center will come, but center.
Okay, next slide, please. So our next member is Dr. Pratyush, who works at the Southeastern Railway Hospital in Kolkata.
Good afternoon, everyone. I am Dr. Pratyush. I would like to take this opportunity to thank AIOS, the ARC LDP program members, the committee, and I'm very excited to for this program to learn and inculcate from each one of us. I'm very young at in this group, and I'm very excited to learn from all of you, all my seniors over there, all the mentors. Thank you.
Pratyush, you said young, no? We had a session on age also. Does age make a difference? You think age makes a difference?
Yes, sir. I think this is my learning phase. I'm still learning, a lot to learn. And I think it's the experience that makes a difference.
Okay, good.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Next slide, please. Okay. So with that was our present LDP batch, a very vibrant, young, energetic, enthusiastic batch. And to them, I would say that a leader does not follow where the path may lead, but instead a leader is a person who goes where there is no path and makes a trail for himself or herself. So all the best to you and look forward to having you for all the LDP activities. With that, we go on to the debate. Sir, would you like to call the speakers?
I think debate is always an interesting point, Let's have, profession is important, then the family. I don't know why these topics are kept, which is so controversial, Let's have, we have Dr. Nilesh Kumar.
Yes, sir.
You're going to talk about what? Plus? Or?
I am for the profession.
For profession. You're going to leave the family?
She's making the point. She has left her family and she's here.
Okay.
So
Okay, Nilesh, continue.
So I'd like to thank AIOS ARC for providing us this opportunity, and it was a wonderful 1 year for the last the LDP batch that we had. And these are my financial disclosure. This is just to put in your mind that yes, I am very much interested in my profession. I love what I do, and I think that is the course, that is the narrative that is set for this. So. What is this idea? Where does this idea comes from? This idea comes from the privilege that we are having, that we have so much of resource. We have resource to dispense at our hand, so that we start to philosophize. If we don't have any resource, we don't philosophize. And this is not my thing. This is one of the greatest philosophers India has ever had. This is a quote by. This is a quote by Shah Rukh Khan. So I did a social experiment before starting with the debate. When I started preparing for this topic, I went to a construction that was happening in my own building. We are expanding. So I asked a worker, भैया संडे को काम क्यों कर रहे हो? संडे को फैमिली के साथ टाइम बिताना चाहिए. तो वो लेबर मुझसे बोल रहा है, दूर में देख रहे हैं वहाँ, वो मेहरारू है मेरी. दोनों का फैमिली टाइम यही है कि हम लोग नहीं कमाएंगे तो खाएंगे क्या? So they don't have this idea. This idea is born out of privilege, the privilege that we have. So aren't we a class apart? So we are having this debate. But is he elite enough for us? He is way above all of us. Whatever we are sitting, his net worth is way above what I think all of us combined. But when he says this, youngsters should work 70 hours a week, all the hell broke loose. Everybody was like, he will kill youngsters. All youngsters are dying because of this extra pressure on the work front. So on the wedding night, somebody is doing work. He is an Infosys employee or something like that. When Rohit Sharma was sending the player off, they were telling that Narayan Murthy at 5:49 when the employee is leaving before 6. All those memes. I loved all those. But what was the point? The point was that it is an idea of privilege. But how many of us can afford this? This is the same Narayan Murthy spending his time with the daughter who is the wife of Prime Minister of United Kingdom. He is spending time just like a commoner in the street eating ice cream and naturals. How many of us who think that family is more important do this? Our idea of family time is just to take a vacation to Maldives or Bali or something like that, but do we enjoy these small things? Do we enjoy? No. Rarely anybody will find who will be doing all this. So it's not about finding a balance or what is more important. You will never find time for anything. If you want to find time, you must make it. And this it's all about quality of life and a happy balance between work and friends and family. As Titiyal sir told, why are we having this debate? These are so controversial. It's not the two ends. There should be a middle ground where we should find a balance between both and to do. And how do we find this balance is because once we find this balance, we find this balance only when we are happy doing what we do. We love what we do, then only we can find that balance. And when you find that balance, you become rich. Don't philosophize, because all philosophers have died poor. No philosopher has died rich. Only one philosopher is living rich. That is him. Thank you. This is Nilesh Kumar signing off.
Now we have Dr. Kiran Mai. She's going to talk about family is more important than profession.
So thank you for giving me the opportunity. So now I'll be talking against profession is important than family. So I think it's a difficult task, me being a professional and among so many professionals to talk, but I still strongly say that family is not only an important thing, it's everything. So, but why family is important? It's coming here. So family is not only an important thing, it's everything. Then why is family important? There are n number of reasons, especially the emotional support we get. Even in a workplace, even in a hospital, generally when the word, all of us are a family. Even in a hospital, they tend to say, all of us are a family. So the word family itself gives a sense of security and stability and a sense of belonging, and which gives us a lot of strength. So that is why the importance of family comes in. So now when we are at a crossroads to choose between profession and family, I would like to bring upon some of the statesmen which guide us in choosing the right path. So one of them are, you are totally replaceable at work, but you are not replaceable at home. So you are only a parent, you are only the mother to your children, or you are only one who can take care of your parents. Nobody is replaceable at that place. And always, all of us know that blood is thicker than water. So home is your real life. Keep that perspective always. If you died tonight, your employer would advertise and fill the job by the month end. But your loved ones will miss you forever. So don't get too busy making a living that you forget to work on making a life. So with this, I would share an experience of mine which I had few months ago. So one fine morning, I was preparing to go to work. I had my surgeries planned that day. And my father was suffering from 2 days with viral fever. He had breakfast and he was watching TV, and suddenly he developed temperature and chills. So I gave him medicine and he was sleeping, and I was preparing, but he was looking little drowsy, so I thought he will be fine in some time. Then when I asked him, he was okay. He told, I am okay, you go to hospital because the old people are ones who don't want to trouble us. Then I just prepared myself to go to hospital thinking that he'll be fine. But just before leaving, I had to go and just see how he was. He was looking something normal, a little drowsy, but he was looking everything fine, but something was telling me that something is going wrong. But I was again that I had to operate because the patients were waiting for me. I had to go to the hospital. So I was in a dilemma, but nobody can take that place there because I felt something was going wrong with my father. Then I called my colleague. Luckily, he was available. He said, don't worry, madam, I'll take care of the patients. Then I had to rush my father to the hospital, and to my surprise, his sugar was 30. And luckily, he recovered. And everything went fine. And even the patients whom my colleague explained my situation and operated, even now when they come to me, they still ask me, how is your father? Nanagar ela unnaru baavunnara. So that is the strength of the family. Even everybody understands what our role is in the family. So if you put work first, neglecting the family, you will certainly regret someday. So if you succeed in family, you can succeed anywhere. Other things may change, but we start and end with the family, and these are my parents and my family whom I started my journey, and because of whom support I am here. So thank you. And I also thank my chairman of an institute who helped me grow as a professional, and also always told me that my family is important. Whenever I needed, they said, you be there because you're not replaceable, and we will take care of the work here. So you're totally not replaceable in your family life.
Thank you, Dr. Kiran Mai. I have identified two people sitting in the audience here who are very successful professionals in different age group. Let's have their opinion in one sentence. Dr. Anaga Harur, one sentence, what is your idea about family and profession?
So, actually, thank you so much for...
no, that's not an answer.
Sir, I feel I've always put profession. And yes, being a mother, it has been very difficult managing kids, home, and profession. But fortunately, my husband, my family, my kids have always supported me.
But for me, if I have to choose between the two, definitely both are together. You cannot have only profession or only family. But for me, I don't have an option of my employer taking anybody else, or for me, I'm
Okay.
the
That
whole
means you
and soul.
keep your profession first,
Yes,
then
so
family
not
subsequently.
then, I would put both together. I think
Okay,
how
thank
we
you.
balance is everybody's different.
Thank you. Let's
choice.
have
Thank
another
you.
senior most person, if I can ask Dr. Ashok Grover, one of the leading persons in this country and who's done so much.
Thank you so kind for your kind words. Like in everything else, balance, the right balance, finding the right balance for yourself is the right thing. If you were to ask me to choose one, I will have to choose family. There's no question about it. But the right balance.
Okay, thank you, both the speakers, Nilesh and Kiran Bhai.
I'm not being asked for, but I still would like to share a different perspective or my perspective. I feel it's not family, it's not profession. Priority keeps changing based on situation. You do have emergency patient and you do have your son at home. You'll ask your son, there is an emergency and I need to address that. Your son is ill or not keeping well, you'll explain your patients that they need to reschedule themselves.
Very
so
nice.
I think it's, priority at that point of time, and that strikes the balance.
What's your name, ma'am?
Namrata Kabra.
Namrata, I know. Namrata name as such. Can you do like this? Just balance. Balance is the word which Dr. Grover talked about for a situation wise. Very nicely spoken. Thank you. Thank you. Very nice. Thank you very much, both the speakers. Let's have the next set of debaters. Practice, marketing, and word of mouth. Wow, this is a good subject. We can have the first speaker, Dr. Ankit Agarwal. Is he here? Ankit, yeah, he's there.
Dr. Ankit, do we have Dr. Manoj here?
Both are there. Achha, they're changing the... Marketing is an essential form of success in your practicing. Okay. I think first you can describe your practice area. Ankit. किसके है?
Yeah, I'm in.
Okay.
Manoj.
You have to switch.
They are confused now.
So, thank you AIOC and LDP for giving me this wonderful opportunity. I learned a lot during my last 1 year as a member of this team in the LDP sessions, and highlight being the Pegasus and IIM Ahmedabad sessions. So the topic which has been given to me is marketing is an essential form of success in practice. I am a second generation ophthalmologist, so we already had a established practice when I joined 6 years back. But since I have joined, I have started some marketing. Before that, it was a totally word-by-mouth practice. So first, I will like to talk a little bit about marketing, that is types of marketing. There is a social media and online marketing, that's website, Google ads, Facebook ads, YouTube videos, etc. There's offline marketing, there's newspaper ads, signboards, pamphlets, etc. And there's the outreach camps, wherein you tie up with some social organizations like Rotary, Lions, etc. Or you can do school screening camps and all. So a marketing strategy involves having to sit with your team to know what processes you can optimize, how you can design your website, how you can design your social media campaigns, how you can manage your staff. Everything is marketing. Marketing does not only mean that you have to, tell the patients that I'm offering this service. Marketing involves all kinds of aspects of how do you promote yourself. So how it just helps? It increases your exposure to the potential patients, especially for a young ophthalmologist who has just started their practice in a relatively new place where nobody knows them. It becomes difficult to, get the patients in the beginning. So it increases exposure to potential patients. Patients get to know that you have this particular skill set, you have this particular degrees, and you have these particular machines, so they get attracted to that. There's faster growth in volumes and revenue. Definitely when the patients come, the volumes and revenue will automatically come. Is marketing really a taboo? So we as doctors always have a superiority complex that we are better than others. We should not be marketing ourselves. I don't believe that. We are competing with corporates. We are competing with people who are marketing. So let's get down from the high horse and start marketing. Ophthalmology is a very expensive affair. All the machines are very costly. A decent clinical setup with a OCT, slit lamp, microscope, phaco and all goes north of 1 crore. So we have to earn money. And earning money by word by mouth is a very slow process. When you take loans from rents, loans, in the interest, they will go higher than your earnings. It will become very difficult to sustain yourself. After all, we are not here to do charity. Everybody here is to earn for themselves. Charity comes as a part of it. Most importantly, in ophthalmology especially, we start very late. The practice is very late because nowadays, after MS also, we are not able to do phaco surgeries. We have to go for fellowships to do something. Phaco, refractive, cornea, whatever. So by the age of 34, 35, we start our own practice. Already our youth is gone. The peak is gone. Now we are just scraping by, trying to get more patients in the short span of time which we have, that is another 30, 40 years. So let's market, let's get more patients. Marketing is an important tool to grow our practice faster and in a sustained way, provided we use it efficiently and positively. Thank you.
Yeah, you can speak on mouth of words, you know.
At the outset, let me thank AOS ARC for giving me this opportunity. Special mention to my State Ophthalmologic Society for nominating for the LDB program. The last 1 or 2 years have been a wonderful learning experience. I'm here to talk to you on word of mouth marketing. Is all that is necessary. Imagine yourself as a music lover. Okay, slides. And one fine day, somebody rings your doorbell. And you open the door, you see somebody with a guitar standing there, and he tells you that he's the greatest musician in the world, and he would like to come inside and sing a song for you. How would that make you feel? You will feel intrusion of your privacy and your personal space, and you'll be a bit annoyed. This is what exactly happens with marketing. You're bombarded with information which you don't need. When you go on the road, what do you see on the billboards on the road? When you're switching on your TV, you see ads popping up, destroying the continuity of the program. Whereas in word of mouth marketing, it is targeted to the audience who requires to hear it. So what is word of mouth marketing? This is typically advertisement triggered by customer experience. Sorry. Based on the service or product delivered, if it is matching or beyond the person's experience. It needn't be always be spoken words. It can be digital, social media, blogs, or customer review. How to achieve warm? It is by making happy customers, clients, or in our case, patients. The advantage is that there is no compromise on ethics. We are not intruding into anybody's personal space. There is no active cost, so you can use that capital for community work. Though it's passive, don't think that it's having a negative connotation. It happens in the background without your active participation. That's all it means. The disadvantage is that it is hard work. Okay? It's hard work over time, and it takes time for you to build that reputation. So like Sri Krishna says in Gita, do your karma right and don't expect results. That is what we should do. Why is WOM a strong marketing tool? Because the recommender has the credibility. You trust the recommender here. The basic design nature is that the information reaches targeted audience and not deaf ears. Who makes recommendations? The professionals who are closer to your profession are the best ones to make. If they make, the credibility is very high. Then it could be a cohort of people who have experience in your service or product. So it could be a patients or their relatives. From the patient's point of view, friends, family members, and their well-wishers are the best recommenders. And finally, there are influencers, but I wouldn't go into that. Factors that affect the strength of recommendation is credibility of the recommender, time lapse from the experience by the recommender, and relationship with the recommender. So when you are bombarded with information, think about these things. Who is saying, what are they saying, and why are they saying? Who is saying because you want to know the credibility of the person who is saying it? Is it a doctor who is saying medical advice? What are they saying? Analyze the information. And why are they saying it? Are they saying with some hidden agenda? Do they have vested interest or not? Recommendation based by reward has lower acceptance for the recommendation and are least likely to be shared. The typical viral effect is not seen there, whereas credible recommendations, the higher share probability. So how to improve warm marketing practice? Uncompromisable quality. Improved personal attention to the patient, having more chair time. Availability. You cannot be practicing in some place for 3 months and then going to another place, or being available all the time for the patient. That is very important. Positive, proactive, enthusiastic, and empathetic behavior from your side as well as your staff side. Being sensitive to the patient's time. Everyone's time is very important. Be sensitive to that. Be sensitive to the price. You have to be slightly flexible based on the patient's affordability. And last but not the least, or more importantly, community work. Some of the giant organizations in our country has been built up the reputation over with the community work. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I think both have put forth your view that the one says that yes, the marketing, and other is word of mouth. For you all, I have started just a practice 2 years before, and I was in the government service. Everybody was saying that you can't practice because people in government service, patient will never come to you, and you will have to wait for minimum 6 months. And I have started from my practice, and from first day onward, I have not paid from my pocket. It is not important that how much you can say advertise. It is important that word of mouth, how good you are, how good your patients are, how much time you are giving to the patient. And when patients are going outside and talking about you, when they say that he is a good doctor, then patient will come to you. Now advertise, there are so many aggregators and so many people are coming. So they are acting as an agent now. And I think if they are acting as agent, then we are the doctor. Then we will have to again depend on third person. So I think yes, people should know that we are practicing. So yes, you can just you can sum up the marketing to know that you have started your practice. But word of mouth is more important, and that is my opinion. So we are very late. Thank you very much. Thank you both of you. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. So.
Speakers in the session, and I thank the chairpersons, and I request Dr. Lahane sir to kindly give some certificates of appreciation to our speakers. Dr. Pradeep Kumar, is he here? Dr. Asim Sin. Yeah, Dr. Pradeep. सर का दिया
डॉक्टर टिंकू
डॉक्टर टिंकू वाले अरे तेरे को
Thank you so much, sir.